I expected to find the door to my brother's office closed. He had made himself into a very important man after all. As far as I knew, I was the only one that still called him Raul. To everyone else, he was El Jefe, a name that froze the hearts of his rival bosses with fear. But contrary to my expectations, Raul's door was open, and I could hear voices from inside. Without disturbing the conversation, I stepped onto the threshold, leaned back against the doorframe, and studied the scene. My brother Raul sat behind his desk, looking larger than life as usual. But next to his desk stood a striking young woman with purple hair and gorgeous legs that seemed almost too long for her petite body. And as I admired those legs, I realized the woman was shaking, or rather trembling from head to foot. She didn't seem to be afraid, but her trembling was undeniable. The woman leaned forward, resting her hands upon the surface of Raul's large wooden desk. I need work," she stammered frantically. I need the money. I don't care what the job is." Raul leaned back in his chair. He examined the young woman with both concern and appreciation. Her hands planted upon his desk had stopped shaking, but the frantic look in her yellow eyes remained. "What you need, sweet bug," Raul said, "is some sleep." The woman rolled her eyes upward and scanned the ceiling. "Yeah," she said, returning her wild gaze to Raul. "Sleep, maybe, yes. Sleep. Sleep might be good." Raul raised an eyebrow at the confused response. "Do you think you'll be able to sleep?" The woman nodded much too quickly. "Sure," she said, withdrawing a beaten multi-dose inhaler from her exquisite bandolier. "One quick trip, and I should be down for the count." Raul shook his head. "I worry about you, Bug," he said. The woman reached her tiny right hand across the desk, resting at the top of Raul's much larger hand. "That's sweet," she purred, with a strange squeak in her voice. "But I'm fine. I just need work." She then widened her yellow eyes as she stared into Raul's. "I'm going crazy down here." Raul placed his other large hand over the woman's, and I imagined that her trembling passed into him, causing him to shake. "Don't worry, sweet bug," Raul soothed. "I'll have something for you soon." The woman nodded excitedly. Thanks, Chief," she said. "I mean, I can't wait forever." "Just sleep now," Raul concluded calmly. The young woman withdrew her hand and stood upright. "Sure," she agreed. "Yeah, sure, sleep. Sleep sounds good." She then turned and pranced quickly across the room toward me. She then glanced back. "Thanks, Chief." As if I weren't even there, the woman pushed past me through the doorway, nearly taking some of my shirt buttons with her. But I didn't mind. I just casually watched her walk away, then turned back to my brother and entered the office. "She's a cute one," I offered, with a smile. "Esteban, hermano," Raul exclaimed. "Come in, please, and close the door behind you." Pulling the door shut, I approached the desk as Raul rose to greet me. We clasped hands in a strong, firm handshake, and Raul raised his other hand to further clasp mine. "It's been too long, Esteban," Raul observed with a warm smile. "Too long indeed, hermano," I agreed. I then motioned to a chair. "May I?" Please, Raul invited. "Can I get you anything?" I sat down opposite my brother, shook my head. No, gracias, I'm fine." Raul nodded, lowering himself into his own chair. "On second thought," I added, "perhaps that pretty little mutant I just saw." Raul laughed. "The same old Esteban. But no, you'll want to stay clear of that one. She's as dangerous as she is valuable. Perhaps more so." At this, I leaned back. "Oh? Now I'm intrigued." Raul sighed. She's been trouble since well before she came to work for me, he explained. Those mutations of hers, the hair, the eyes, the long legs, I don't think they're ordinary mutations de Miguel Amarillo. That girl has spent her life inhaling or injecting everything she could get her hands on. And she gives little thought to the consequences. I suspect some of those substances were the cause of her current physical state. Raul withdrew a cigar from his humidor and offered it silently to me. I shook my head again. No, thank you, I said. I want to hear more about this troublesome treasure. Raul nodded, clipping the end of his cigar. Everyone calls her Jitterbug, for obvious reasons. The girl never stops shaking. He struck his lighter. Not unless she's totalmente drogada. Jitterbug, I mused. Interesting. Raul drew the flame into his cigar until the tip glowed red. That's not her real name, of course. That was Jacqueline or something. Raul enjoyed a few smoky puffs. Ah, Jacqueline Miller. That's it. But no one ever calls her that. She's Jitterbug, and that's the only name she likes. Wait, I interjected, closing my eyes momentarily. Yes, Jitterbug. I think I've heard of her. She's an assassin, right? I've seen her name on wanted posters. Raul laughed, expelling another mouthful of smoke. Assassin is an understatement, hermano. I'd call her more of a problem solver. She can solve any problem you give her, provided you don't care about collateral damage. I observed. Sounds useful. Oh, she is, Raul confirmed, resting his cigar on a silver tray. But as I said, she's very dangerous. How so? I asked. Raul sighed again. I've never known a junkie as far gone as Jitterbug. In fact, junkie doesn't seem like a strong enough word. I heard the boss once tried to help her by locking her in a room. After a few days, the howls from the room became too much for his crew to bear, so they let her out. Immediately she jumped on the boss and ripped his cheek off with her teeth. They say her fingertips had been ground to the bone from scratching at the door, but she still lashed out wildly at everyone around her. Eventually, someone threw her a crush inhaler, which she sucked down like a drowning man gasping a breath of air. Raul flicked the ash from his cigar. A few days later, that boss's office exploded, with him in it. Loco, I exclaimed. And then Raul continued. I've seen similar behavior myself. Not to the same extreme, but if Bug goes without a fix for too long, well, things start to get scary. I thought for a moment, then stared at my brother. Pretty or not, I said, she sounds like a liability. Raul nodded. Oh, she is. But as I said, her ability to solve problems cannot be denied. What's more, I'm not the only boss that knows about her. If she wasn't mine, she'd be someone else's. And then it might be me that finds an explosive surprise in my humidor. That's the nature of the business, I suppose, I offered. And as far as problems go, at least she's a pretty problem. Dios mío, those legs. Raul nodded. You may have noticed that Bug walks on her toes, almost as if she was wearing high heels. I nodded in response. But that's not by choice, Raul explained. The muscles in her legs are so tight, she couldn't drop her heels if she wanted to. And those same tight muscles allow her to leap como un gato. Y también como un gato, she seems to have 9 lives. I've never seen anyone so lucky. It's as though, despite her miserable existence, fortune continues to smile upon her. Oh, hermano, I cautioned. I think you have something very special there, but maybe special enough to get you killed. Raul laughed. Tell me something I don't know. Raul then lifted his cigar from the tray. Now, how are things in Tucson?